How is it going? The pandemic in Texas right now? Well, I will take you back first to March 2nd of this year, where Governor Abbott was very excited to announce that he was lifting the mask mandate and opening Texas 100%. And why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why you might do that. You might do that because you think that the science says it's safe, the CDC's okay with it. But then the fact that you did that announcement to the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce implies to me that the CDC is probably not the foremost thing on your mind. It's probably about getting back to literal business as usual. So that was a few months ago. How are they doing? Well, dozens of Texas hospitals are now out of ICU beds as COVID-19 cases again overwhelm the state's capacity. Over a third of adult patients in North Texas in all their hospitals are there specifically for COVID, and even children's hospitals are at 97% capacity. Austin, where I lived and went to grad school, had at one point a couple days ago 6 open beds in its ICU, not for COVID, for anything, and that was a couple days ago. So that has left Texas in a position where it needs to do something, but we know a few things they do not want to do. What they will do though is try to get other people to help them. The Texas Department of State Health Services will be utilizing staffing agencies to provide medical personnel from out of state to Texas Health State care facilities to assist in COVID-19 operations. The governor has also sent a letter to the Texas Hospital Association asking hospitals to voluntarily postpone elective medical procedures for which a delay will not result in loss of life or the deterioration of a patient's condition in order to increase hospital capacity for COVID-10 patients. So we wrote that out as a graphic, but it was an announcement from the office of the Texas governor exactly like that first one. So in March, it's, hey, everybody get out there and have fun. You don't need to take care, you don't need to worry about any of this. Now it's, dear God, are there any doctors in other states that can come to save us? So that's how it started. Now this is how it's going. Yasmin, answer for your state.
I can't. How can I? There's always a joke in Texas. We're always making fun of Florida, and lately it's like I've been talking to my Florida friends. I was like, I can't even say anything to you guys anymore because of what's going on here. I actually just got back from Austin. I was there over the weekend, and I spoke to someone who, I don't want to say too much, but she's a doctor, right? And she was the one who was telling me all about how bad it actually is within their Austin hospital system and the neighboring cities. And in Houston, it's also very bad. I think in 2020, during the first big spike of COVID, a lot of the Texas Children's Hospital and other children's hospitals and things like that, they were using their beds and things like that to help treat some of these COVID patients, and now they can't even do that because those beds are filled with kids. And there's, I lost my train of thought, but there's a lot going on there. And also the ER, that's what it was. The ER, they're checking people in and they're keeping them in an ER. Emergency rooms are supposed to be a place where you go in and you're diagnosed, and then either you're admitted into the big hospital or you get sent home. But now people are staying in the hospitals. There's a crazy nursing and even doctor shortage that's happening now, and you can't blame people for being burned out and quitting their jobs. Like they would rather be unemployed, this thing that they spent years of their lives studying to do, rather than deal with the stress and the dangers of going to work in these hospital systems. As far as Greg Abbott, back in March 2020, when he decided to reopen the state my timeline might be off, but he reopened the state within about 2 months of it shutting down, of quarantining, locking up. Yeah, something like that. And but it was way premature, and everybody was like, what is the long-term goal here? What do you think is going to happen? And now we're asking for people from other states to come, and it's like, why would they come? We did this to ourselves. Not that we deserve it, but
I'm sure many will. But now they're going to be even more stressed. It's going to weaken the surrounding states' ability to deal with COVID. It's going to potentially expose those healthcare workers to increased risk of getting COVID now, and totally unnecessarily. Texas does not need to be as hard hit. And by the way, I'm joking a little bit because I think Abbott is an absolute ghoul. He's a monster. But I love Texas. I don't want Texas. I lived in Texas for 5 or 6 years. I don't want Texas to be hit this way. I don't want any state to be hit this way. And it didn't need to. Abbott didn't need to prematurely open. He didn't need to, at a state level, ban mask mandates and ban vaccine passports and ban all this other stuff that they weren't even doing but just to vice signal to his base that he doesn't give a damn about COVID or anything that happens. Now, it's not to say that in this most recent announcement, there's nothing that's good or might be helpful. Abbott instructed state agencies to open more COVID-19 antibody infusion centers across the state to treat COVID-19 patients with therapeutic drugs, and directed state agencies to increase vaccination availability across the state. But he's still a Republican and he still desperately wants to be president someday. So he's not gonna personally encourage people to get vaccinated. He's certainly not gonna require it for literally anything. So it'll be available, that's good. I got news for you though. It's been available for months and months and months. You need to encourage the knuckleheads that you have beaten into submission with your misinformation to actually go and get it. And time is rapidly running out, I fear. I want you to look at this graphic summing up recent trends in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. So cases have more than doubled in the past 2 weeks. Hospitalizations have exactly doubled in the past 2 weeks. Deaths have also doubled. They are thankfully still low, but we also know that they tend to lag those two other metrics. So it is possible that the 58 deaths we experienced 2 days ago in Texas could be 100 or 200 or 300 in a few more weeks. I hope not. I hope that the fact that vaccinations tend to be overrepresented in those who are most at risk. But that said, we could be entering into a dark period, not just nationally, but specifically in places like Texas. And so I hope if you're there, you get vaccinated, you stay safe. Yasmin, I hope that you're keeping safe while you're there, because you might be surrounded by a lot of people that are not.
No, I am, and I know that I am. So I don't go out very much. But it's what you were saying whenever you're reading about what Abbott's doing. The vaccine availability is not the issue. There's never been, like, we have vaccines. We have signs everywhere. People say, "Oh, we have vaccines," at drugstores, at local ERs, and things like that. That's not the problem. It's the messaging. It's the base. It's the people who just won't do. On top of that, the thing about Texas, I love this place, I do. And in the last year, especially, it has been very difficult just to live here and not to just feel not ashamed, but just like almost embarrassed. Like, yeah, I live here. Yeah, I like it, but I'm not like that, and it's weird because you kind of have to qualify your existence as a Texan now, because whenever anybody hears about Texas, it's like, oh, you guys are crazy. And they're like, yeah, but it's not our fault. And then the bigger issue is obviously that all of this was so preventable, and he did nothing. He sat there and did nothing. He denied things. He wasn't helpful. He thwarted efforts from cities and counties to actually do something for their people, which is something that we're seeing now with the school districts in all the major cities, the three biggest cities in Texas. You have the Austin ISD, Dallas ISD, and Houston ISD all bucking these mandates from the governor, which is crazy, a little unprecedented, but it's good. It's what needs to happen.
If it's necessary,
and these cities are the ones who are bearing the burden of all these sick people,
Exactly, yeah. And I'm sure they're gonna be attacked viciously, if not by Abbott, certainly by the base, but they feel that it is necessary to save as many lives as they can.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.